And good morning. How we doing? How is it going? And who's here? Get the chat up. There we go. All right. Well, I love to complain about the weather. It is absolutely freezing in here. Terrible. You're terrible. Oh dear. Can you say why you're terrible, Enzo? Or is it terrible that I'm freezing? All right, you're just messing around. Okay, that's okay. Right, so I don't have to worry about that. Apart from I can use it as a means to resize the chat. Good day, mate. Hope you're doing all right. I am. I'm just freezing. Right. All right. Yo, Brian. Hi. Good to have you here again. So I've got this. I've had this for a while, you know. It's just sometimes it's a bit of a hassle to set it up. But I did a lesson the other day on Zoom, and I got this going quite easily on the Zoom call using Ecamm. So I thought we'd give it a go. It won't be pretty, this. It's not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing thing. Talking about aesthetics, what do you think? What do you think of the lighty up guitar stand? Don't you think that? Quick tidy. 2 seconds. I like to be clean, you know. I hate having coffee on my table. There we go. Phew. And I can relax. Right, yes. So, yeah, I've had that Troy Grady magnet. Boom, a while. So yes, I've had it a while, and it is very handy if you want to really kind of do your head in with your picking. I had some issues the other week that I was trying to work out, just to do with economy picking angles, and not that I was doing anything insanely wrong, but it was really handy just to see into what I was doing and be able to tweak it. What's the magnet for? So the magnet, you get your phone and you put your phone in the magnet and you attach the magnet to your guitar neck, and it allows you to see your picking. What it's for. So you can see, well, you're going to see in a minute. I'm gonna fit it all up. It's a little bit on Kiesels. It doesn't attach amazingly well because there's not as much body for it to lean against. But it does work. It's fine. It might fall off, but we'll see. We'll try and we'll persevere with it. It should be good. As I say, I had it working on a lesson. It's really cool. I mean, so the way I use it is you can just like record yourself playing and then look at your picking motion. But actually what I'll do is I'll just blast it up onto my computer monitor, and then I can see like the angles in detail. So I thought that's what we would do today, is I would get the angles up in great detail for you to see. Good, my iPhone is showing up on the thing, so it should work. So I think This is going to be very insightful for all of us, is my reckoning for this. Because the one thing about these lives, you know, Troy Grady does like incredible detail, but you guys now have the opportunity to ask questions and try little experiments out with me being the guinea pig to help your understanding. So just imagine that. Everybody here who's on this live, including myself, will either have reinforced knowledge. I shouldn't say understanding. You can't measure. When we're talking about education, you can't measure understanding. All right, you can measure knowledge. We're all going to have much clearer knowledge, much better knowledge, on picking angles, on slanted picking, or slanting, as I should say. And that's it. And the beauty of this is, once you know it, you know it. You've got those skills. You've used your time. You've come here, and you're going to walk away more knowledgeable. Before unrelated question, if I may, that's fine. What camera are you using for the stream? I'm using a Sony. It's a Sony I think it's a CZ10. It's a Sony CZ10, and I'm using a Stigma zoom lens. So that's a Stigma zoom lens, and then I'm streaming. The cameras are set. The trick is the cameras are set to 4K. And then, but the stream's set to 1080. All right. Let's try and get this fitted up, eh? I'll have another bit of my coffee. So, the other interesting thing about doing this, word of warning. So when we're playing guitar, practicing guitar, and you've really got your head in the weeds, right? And you're there with it all. You're gonna have peaks and you're gonna have troughs, okay? So it's a bit of a sine wave. So if you'd imagine the graph, it would be like this. See if I can do it. But it's sort of going up like this, right? Actually, I got it. Yeah, so it's gonna be. Let's see how good my drawing is. It's going to be like this, right? God, this looks terrible. But it gets the point. It's it's going to be like that. So we're going to experience massive peaks, and then we're going to have troughs, okay? I'm in my trough. However, hopefully what's going to happen is your worst moment at the top of the graph is going to be better than your best moment however long ago, last year or something. Yeah. So one thing to bear, and why that's important is human beings, we do tend, when we're going through a bit of a crap phase on guitar, writing music, anything like that, we tend to beat ourselves up and get really slavish over the problem, why it isn't working. Now, what we need to do is just embrace this as an opportunity and actually work out, okay? Because a lot of it is about our awareness of some things is increasing, okay? And it might be a technical thing. So at the moment, I think it's a technical thing, which I'm going to work on, and that should get me back to full power, hopefully. Hence, putting a camera on my guitar. Right. So, how do we do this? Get the magnet and attach the magnet. So I think, if I remember rightly, this is the way it goes round. A little bit of a faff to get on. We get these like that. Right. Right, so far so good. Might need some adjustment. As I say, it's like it's on. It should be like on the body, but I have to set it slightly off the body so it's not as like stable as it would be with other guitars that kind of come up a little bit further. Hi, audio eyeballs. How are you doing? Right, I need my phone. I'm hoping. So it's liable to get knocked off the thing. But anyway, let's just start this. Oh, there we go. Look at that. What do you reckon? And I should. All right, there we go. So that's now taken over my main window. However, if I come back here and then add, say this, we get that. Or we'll just go for the big one. I'm afraid. I've seen how beaten up my fingers are at the minute. Sorry about this, everybody. But it's what happens when you play an acoustic guitar all the time. My hands just absolutely get trashed. But anyway, I'll move it slightly back, but it is gonna. That's about as much as I can do, but it's super unstable. All right, I think we're okay with that. Right, Josh, what do you reckon of that? How cool's that? We're gonna learn such a lot today. All right, so I'm glad you're here. All right, so I think how we're doing. Is it frozen? Oh, my camera's frozen. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Right. Ecam has crashed. One moment. Right, can everybody still see what's going on? All right, so you've got movement. So it's just my monitor that's crashed. All right, okay. I see. Right, okay, cool. Can you see, has it changed? Or is it just on the magnet? It's changed. Right, okay. That's interesting. Right, okay, cool. All right, well, let's just start anyway. I'll not worry about the other monitor, which is now kind of given up. I've never had that. Now back to close-up cam. Brilliant. All right, then. I got my foot still. Get comfortable. And here we go. All right. So, here we go. Let's just start from the very, very beginning, all right, of alternate picking, okay? So, I'll tell you what. So, as I always like to show people, whenever I kind of go to the beginning of all of this, pentatonic scale's really, really sort of a good one to get the concept, because we've got like an even number of notes, okay? And what this means, like tweak there. What this means is that we've got even numbers, okay? So the picking direction is going to be all the same. So a very common picking motion is downward or upward slanting, okay? So downward, upward. So downward slanting on even numbers means we're going down, up. Now, because I've got that slant, you can see how it comes away from the string. So it gives me a clear shot at the A string without the plectrum being trapped. Now, it's great, this camera, because what it means, I can really zero in on the picking movement. Anyway, more of that later. But now I'm going to exaggerate it. So because I've got the downward slant, down, up, the pick's coming away from the string, and now we can get at the next string. And that motion just remains the same. So this hand is just fixed into one position. And that allows us to get through all of the strings. Okay? Okay. If we did this wrong, and we start with a downstroke with an upward slant, this is the problem. And that's why the plectrum is now trapped behind the string. So in other words, to use alternate picking, which we'll have to anyway because we're on 2 notes per string, your hand now has to jump over this string to get to this one. Now, this is what Troy Grady says, and what we've all experienced is that kind of horrible bouncing motion in your hand. It's like your hand has like a little brain and it can see that it's going to get like trapped and it wants to get out of it, so it'll try its best to try and get out of that, okay, and jump to the next string. And that's why we get that bouncing motion. So and that's why we use those angles. So that's the downward slanting, okay? Now, to go back up, right, okay? This is the tricky bit. We have to do a rotation, okay? Because we've got down, as we're coming across these 2 strings, down, up, down, rotate, down. So I do the rotation slowly. Not slowly, but it actually happens really quickly. But I do it over a period of time to get into position. What I don't do is suddenly when I'm on that note, do the rotation. I'm usually rotating when it's safe to rotate, and I can take more time doing that. So I'll do that slowly. We'll go up. Rotate. So now, because our next, the rotation, this is like A minor pentatonic, the rotation is going to happen on the A note. And you can see how smooth that is up to speed. So I'll just go up and down really slow, so let's do this. All right. Everybody following that? Cool. I wonder why my monitor crashed though. Switch it off. Back on again. Aha, it's working. Great. Right, now. Yeah, so I just thought, like, it's really hard to explain to people. And then there's no lives really, is there, with like a magnet cam so we can see. And I don't mind going over any of this stuff that I've been teaching. I don't mind going over again because sometimes a lot of this takes, you know, time for it to sink in. So. Lovely and smooth, isn't it? And I suppose because we've got the magnet cam, now we can explain about things like the displacement and planting. So to me, displacement and planting is just kind of is trying to keep the plectrum as close to the string as you possibly can. So one of the exercises is to pick. And then to stop the note as quick as you can. Because the pick's going into a rest stroke, you see. Now, the other thing you might notice is the actual picking action I'm using, displacement, I'm pushing the string. So planting, displacement, push. And I think the when I'm using displacement, I feel that's the thing that really helps me. That's the thing that really helps me kind of keep the pick quite tight to the string. His harmonic tap plucks, yeah. I mean, that would be good to see, wouldn't it? Alright. There's my hand playing a chord though, Enzo, for now. Would that do? Alright, any questions with that? So that's your downward slant and your upward slant, okay? All interchangeable. You can go up with an upward slant and down with a downward slant, just whatever the situation is. But I think what you've got to remember, right, is that if there's a problem between your left and your right hand, a lot of times it's to do with they're out of synchronization, and no doubt that'll be some area of problem with whatever your picking angles are. So usually it's a great diagnostic tool, is to like have a look at those angles. Now, not all of us have a magnet, which I understand. But what I do suggest you do, which is the next best thing, is to use a footstool and put your guitar on your other leg, because it gives you much better vision down into your picking hand. Okay. And then if you get a magnet, then you can see. So for me, this magnet is brilliant because I can now really zero in on how efficient. So displacement's like pushing the string with a pick. It's a bit like, classical guitar, the rest stroke. It's a bit like that. We're pushing. That's what we're doing. All right. So there we go. 2 notes per string. But, any questions, do put them in the chat, because it might remind me to say something that I may forget. Okay. So 3 note per string. Let's do 3 note per string. So this is alternate picking, not something I do massive amounts of because I economy most of it. But we'll do both economy and alternate. So what we're doing here is we've got 3 strings now. We've got 3 notes per string. And remember, we want to be... Now, if I do that, if I start with a downward slant, okay? I mean, you could start with a downward slant, but you'd have to rotate out of it. Now, there, I'm using a downward slant, but you can see that slight bouncing motion. You see how the hand dips in and then jumps over the string. That's the motion. I can only do it up to speed as well. That's the motion we're not wanting, because that's where it's not the pick's missing strings or just catching them, and you don't feel connected. So we need to feel connected. Well, if you think about it, chromatic scales ends are going to be the same as a pentatonic scale, because it's basically, if we're using four notes per string and it's a chromatic scale, then basically it's the same as a 2-note pentatonic scale because it's an even number, but we will do that. So for this, what we want to do, and I'm just playing a A major, or A minor, or A sharp minor. So what we're doing is we've got down with an upward slant. And the pick, as you can see, nicely comes away. So the pick's coming across the string, and it's nice, clear, and it can hit that string. But because we're doing 3 notes per string, we have to keep rotating the pick. See that? Have to get zeroed into it. Right, there we go. So when I'm playing it slowly, I'm exaggerating the motion, which isn't necessarily how it's going to do, what's going to happen. So this is the really weird thing about this technique, is you can walk through it. Okay, it's just like riding a bike. Like if you don't have enough momentum, you just wobble and you fall off. Yeah. So there's kind of part of it where you're explaining to yourself like what the motions are, and we can walk through it. I'm sure this is what racing car drivers do, don't they? Have like a walk around the track. Okay. But to really experience it, we have to bring things up to speed, because that's where we're sort of bringing in the centrifugal forces and all of this sort of thing that we've got to control. And the only way to do that, to feel that, the gravity, is to actually bring it up to speed. And as you can see there, what's actually happening is that the angles are economizing, just like you would do with your fingers, keeping your fingers close to the strings. The picking, and I think this is something overlooked, is also the picking motion is also economizing itself, so I don't need massive angles and do that, because that's now leading to it being inefficient. What I do need is just enough angle to get over the string. Yeah? How cool is that? Just get my hand into alternate picking mode here. Okay. Getting there. Right. That's good enough. Right. So this is like where, and I remember this being asked on one of Thomas's things about descending picking. Picking scales descending is really, really hard, right? Well, in fact, I did a lesson on it. It's the same thing, isn't it? So here I'm starting with a downstroke. And it's an upward slant. Because upward slant, down, up, down, the pick's away, and now it can cut up into this B string. But we have to rotate. So, there's a good look at like how the rotations are happening. Oops. So that's my alternate picking. I don't always like do this anymore. Okay. So I'll just go through this slowly again without getting lost into my own practice here. So upward slant, up, down, up, clear the string, up, down, rotate, and then we're on to a down. So by doing that rotation, the pick's now away, and then we can rotate. Yeah. There we go. I'm trying, like, I think that's as clear as I possibly can be on it, on the 3 notes per string. So I've done the pentatonic, which is a great way to see it, and get the principle down. More complicated, 3 notes per string. Okay. Well, things are either going to be odds and even numbers. Are you going to use A as a tonal center mainly? I don't know. It's just like that's the closest thing to the magnet without putting my arm further up the guitar up here, because I can't be arsed. I'm being lazy. I'm just, here's comfortable. That's all it is. So yeah, I'll use A as a tonal center. But to be honest, it's not. Today is not about the what key I'm in. No, that's okay. You shout, and so it's shouting therapy. How about that? I don't mind if you yell. Right. Okay. Next. What's next? So, who wants to see? I need a safe place. Right. Okay, I need some questions. Who's got some questions here about what we're doing, or have I perfectly explained the alternate picking scenario? So for scale stuff, right, that's what you're going to use, you know, the downward, upward slant. But what happens if you have one note per string? Okay. What if we just, I don't know, had... What actually happens there is we use... What we actually use there is double escape motion. All right. So double escape motion is simply, and actually I used to play a lot like this when I was younger, when I first started doing alternate picking, and I was like, why can't I play like ridiculous speeds? And there's a bit of a speed cap when you're doing, you know, multiple sort of, when you're doing this thing, multiple notes on a string. But for, you know, unless you're going to sweep, if we're alternate picking or cross picking, then this is the motion that we use. And double escape motion is simply when I'm picking, the pick is escaping from both sides. Clever, eh? Because it's too quick to do the rotation. So the way around that is to have the pick center. And you can see that arc that like Troy Grady will have on his videos. You can see that motion. So, you know, that's double escape motion because we're escaping from the down and the up. Whereas that, single escape motion, we're only escaping from one angle. And that means we have to have the correct angle in order to proceed without bouncing hand syndrome. That's producing, but it depends what he's doing. Okay, he will have those angles. And actually, I think I remember on an episode Troy Grady going on about so gypsy jazz. I used to do this as well. So gypsy jazz picking, they'll have one angle, one aggressive angle. And actually what happens is they'll actually do a muted pick and then the actual note, but you don't hear that muted pick. Anyway, whereas alternate picking, we're going to put that little movement in to get around it. So yes, the one note per string, we're going to do that, all right? Everybody clear on that before I proceed into something else? So we've done downward, upward slanting, double escape motion. Okay, so then there's obviously people are going to go off and do like a Paul Gilbert thing, right? Okay, now for this. Because we can't really see this quick. So that's inside and then outside. It's a great exercise because for a start, if you can only do that, that's as quick as you can play it, right? Okay. So, upward slant, down, up, down, and then we've got that. But we're now trapped. Now, Troy Grady does actually cover this. But basically, in essence, the short version of what he is saying is a way around this is this would be something where we're going to economize on the actual movement. So this will look almost like double escape motion, but it's not. See, as I'm dialing it in there, you can see what I'm doing is economizing on the motion. So in other words, down, up, down. So that's really exaggerating it. There we go. I'm getting my alternate picking back. So in other words, what's happening there is I'm just limiting the arc of the pick, the angle. And I'm just wanting enough to get over. Great. I'm all subbed. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. If you're into this, do like and subscribe. And I have to apologise for the state of my hands, right? Because I spend hours on an acoustic guitar, right? And sometimes I'm out in the freezing cold doing sessions. I work as what you call a therapeutic musician. It's like a music therapist. And I'm just like playing sessions all day long, right? A lot of it's improvisation, and all of it is on like a clunky acoustic guitar. It's a decent acoustic guitar, but it's wear and tear on your hands. It's like all my fingers and finger ends and everything, they're like really hard. I can like pick really hot things out the oven with just my hands, just my fingertips. Because I'm just like all the time, like yesterday I must have done about 4 or 5 hours, like solid playing. So it's just like wear and tear. But anyway, so yeah. So that would be like an extreme example, and that's why that exercise is so good. And then obviously the inside motion of that is like an inverse. It just means you're more of a man. Yeah, I need to grow hair on the ends of my fingers just to prove it. All right, okay, so this is the inside motion. There you can go. So again, like with this, we're going to have a downward slant. And we're going to go down, up. Sorry, we're going to go. It's a downward slant, but we're going up, down, up. And you can see the picks come away. We can hit that string. But now, look what's happened. We're now trapped. So that hand's going to get that bouncing motion to get back. So we need some way of quickly flipping that pick. So, how do we do that? And the way we do it is we work out what's the least amount of angle. So you can see there is a slight rotation there. Oh, Rondo a la Turk. So it's great this magnet because I can dial in. The right amount. Okay. So that's the inside, outside, inside motion. As I say, the inside's always like harder because we're not used to it. But now people will have a fighting chance. That's what Vi did for hours on end. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're going to have a little break. I'm going to nip back to this screen for 1 moment. Boom. Aha. Right. Okay. I've got my magnet. Right. Let's see if I can put this down without it falling off. Oh, that's better. Hold just skipped it. Right. So we're coming to the next thing, actually, because I'm going to talk about economy picking. That's the next thing. I'll tell you what, the time has flown today. I'm very likely tomorrow's stream go over this again, because I don't want to ever have to go over it ever again. Slanted picking. So I'm gonna do another one of these probably tomorrow, in the hope that, because the thing is like, I'm hoping everybody kind of runs off like dead keen and excited. If you're at work, you can't wait to get home to pick your guitar up and do some picking exercises to try all of this stuff out. But we'll go through economy picking. So, although a very simple concept, when it's applied to different things, it can become quite complicated, depending on what you're playing. It's the same time tomorrow, yeah. I was actually, I didn't do 2 streams because Monday I thought, right, I need to do, hold on, what day is it today? It's Wednesday today. Tuesday yesterday. So Monday I just decided to sleep in because I was just totally exhausted. Tuesday, but I set up like the whole room to do really nice verticals. For like the Instagram shorts, so I got like a really good look. Just means changing the room around a little bit. And then I got up in the morning and then like I thought, God, I'm under a lot of pressure here to kind of do this. And then did a load of recording, but I didn't, a lot of it I felt like I shouldn't feel. I didn't particularly like, so. And then I just decided, you know what, I just need to kind of do a live. So yeah, it'll be tomorrow the same time, but it'll be there to watch back. You'll be able to skip to the bits that you want to see. It's best if you're here though, and the reason, and obviously being at the live's like really important because you can just ask now. You can have your questions now, and I can answer them in real time. So has anybody got any questions? And do, if you're on here, do give me some likes and do subscribe, because obviously it's our channel, it's not my channel, and what a great place to be. And like actually now I just see it as a bit of a social space really, which I think is a brilliant idea, where we can all, we can all meet, talk about the musical issues of the day, or not at all, and I'll sit here and shred and perform and do things or write music. But there's such a huge, wide ground to cover. And one thing I love about this channel is I'm not like slavishly attached to one thing. When I started it, it was all music production. There was no guitar playing. In fact, I wasn't really playing guitar. I was doing all the synths and everything for McRocklin and Hutch, so you got to see, how I'd make tracks then. So there's all of that side, which I haven't forgotten about, but I'm like super, unfortunately I got corrupted back into guitar, and it's taken hold, so I'm very keen, and I use this channel as a means of practicing all the things that I'm really bad at and doing it under pressure. And I find by doing that, it's a great way to get good very, very quickly, providing everybody can put up with you. So even like now, today, doing the alternate picking, I don't really do much alternate picking, but I realise that I should do a bit more. I also realise the power of the magnet and how great that is at economising your picking. And yeah, it's just such a good thing. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of the magnet, like in my own time, practice zooming in and economizing, and just generally tidying up sort of my playing with it, because I think that's a great tool. Very revealing, but also can be very depressing because you're going to like see lots of things wrong that you're going to have to fix. But as I say, like knowledge, once you know, and that's it. And that's why people say, once you know, you know. Because you do know, you can't like then remove the knowledge, can you? It's there, you know. Thanks, Josh. Yeah. Well, we've got a bit more to come because in part 2, we've got economy picking. That's for sure. Okay. I'll just take this over here. Wait, hold on. Can you say something about both horizontal and vertical slants? I get the string escape slant, but how important is the front edge being tilted back on this? Some people hold the pick parallel to the string. Yes, okay. I think, right, so when I've seen this, I think basically it's just what you feel comfortable with. I mean, the slanting and those physics of how you're going to get over the strings is like, that's the same for everybody. The other thing that you're talking about is a tone option. So depending on your angle, it just really depends on what sort of tone you're going to get. All right. And I must admit, the reason I've got like the 45-degree angle thing going on. Let's have a look. So the reason I've got it's like an aircraft wing, isn't it? Ailerons and effortless, or whatever they're called. The reason I've got that angle is probably early on Paul Gilbert used it. So I used it. But it's also a tone option. So I think like when you use a flatter side, there's slight tone variations. But the picks that I've got actually, you know, they have a slight knife edge to them, which is about that angle. So that's why I use that. The pick actually has that. But you do get different tone options. And I know there was those Nashville players who were even using... Hold on, where's my hand? Using the rounded side of the pick. Because the theory there is you get more slip. And the same with doing that. So if you've got like a flat angle, there will be a tone difference. But then you don't have any slip. So like these plectrums, as you can see, like have a curved edge. And that's to do with the slip. It's also the angle is to do with the pick chirping. So we get pick chirping. And this is one of the reasons actually I stopped using the thick 2mm plectrums, is because you get a lot more chirp out of them. Which you don't want, and it was like this really piercing kind of sound. So that's why I'm using that. That angle. So in short, slip, tone. And that's why we'll have that nice kind of curved edge, because you can see how it's slipping off the string. Yeah. Right. There you can see where I keep my thermos flask. Behind the scenes, this. Even more impressive when you see it close up. I know. That's the perfect answer. Thank you, Brian. Oh, right. Economy picking, let's get on with it. So there's definitely going to be part 2. We're definitely going to be recapping over this tomorrow. But tomorrow is going to be about you guys really asking questions. That's what I'm hoping on. And so are they pre-bevel like prime tone or some kind of high-end pick? Okay. I must admit, I just used the Dunlop flows, and I really like the blue ones at the minute. But there's the blue and the brown ones, but the blue ones, I never liked them at first, and then just ended up liking them. It's really weird. Okay. Economy picking. Right, okay, again, it's dialing the angles in, isn't it? So this is a 3-1-3 pattern. We'll just go in from this, but there's like loads of smaller patterns, which I'll probably show everybody tomorrow, but we'll just go for this bigger one for now. What we've got here is basically this shape. We're in E minor, and we've got first finger on the 5th string on the 7th fret, and we've got 1, 3, 4. And then we've got one note because it's 3-1. And that's the second finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string. And then we've got 3 notes, except this time we've got 1, 2, 4, and then we've got 1, which is on the 10th fret with the 3rd string, 3rd finger, and then I've got 1, 3, 4 there. Whoops. So that's what's going on there. But as you can hear, there's something happening at the top half, and there's a bit of a habit that's crept in. So that's what we're going to annihilate right now. So basically with this, it's a downward slant. And the beauty of economy picking is this: down, up, down, down, down. So literally across 3 strings, it's one swipe. Imagine doing that with economy alternate. You can do it, but you can see how complicated angles we've got to put in there. Okay. Economy, it's just one motion. And there's another thing you'll notice as well with economy, although it's like one angle, down, up, down, we also have rest strokes as well. And I think this actually happens automatically, that this mutes that string, because the pick actually moves quicker than your hand can. So that is effortless. No problem at all. Consistent. We can mute. We can not mute. We can pick light. And we can pick really hard. A huge amount of control with economy pick, and this is why I absolutely love it. And the whole point is I can talk to you guys, and I don't even have to think about it, okay? But what I do have to think about is when we start introducing the inside motion. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Frank and Barley sort of methodology early on, although he's a great alternate picker as well, he would suggest that you have to put an even number of notes in order to keep everything economy. So I don't go by that. So what I'm using here is to turn this round as I'm actually using alternate picking. And this is why the magnet's really good, because I've noticed there's a little bit of a problem in there that's occurred, right? And that's to do with the angles or lack of angles. So as I'm coming up, I'm having to change picking direction. And what it is there isn't enough time to do a massive rotation. Okay? That feels quite awkward, and I'm starting to think it. So again, just like when I'm doing the Paul Gilbert exercise, it's about limiting the movement of this. So you can see there's and the reason I go really fast is because to really dial it in accurately, you have to be up to speed. It's like tuning a car. Like I can walk through the angles and I exaggerate everything, but there's just not enough time to get in there. So the angle has to be now you can hear there how the tone and everything improves as I'm adjusting the angle. So as I'm dialing it in, the trick you have to do now is remember physically how it feels, okay? So when we're talking about playing guitar, I haven't mentioned this for a while, there's a definite like sensory aspect to this, isn't it? It's like, right, well, how does it feel? Because at this speed, it's like, well, how does it look? It's going so fast, it's very, very hard to kind of understand that, to experience that, I should say. So the only way to really experience it is to bring it up to speed and then try and remember that feeling. So that's hard, that's with a string skipping it. And then it's like how fast do you really need to play this? I don't think I need to play it that fast. And there we go. It's cooked. It's ready. I'm happy with that. Okay, I'll show you my left hand. And all right, here we go. In fact, let's just see. Oh. It would have been good if I could have. It's because that's zoomed in, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, that's the left hand. And of course, for the left hand, economy. You know, so these fingers. part of the problem is the third finger here. Has to do quite a bit of movement. So it's actually making sure that third finger is in place when it needs to be. All right. So there's another little thing you can see. Hold on. How about groups of 4 just going up C sharp minor? So we've got 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Again, economy picking. So we've got down, up, down, down. Down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down. So there's like a mixture of so with that exercise there, as it was getting a bit light on the picking, it just meant that I had to use more displacement and planting. But the trick is putting all of these techniques together, isn't it? That's the real game. Right, so that's the left hand. I'm just checking the chat back. Thank you. Do subscribe though. Oh, right, okay. Well, okay, I'm not sure about. Right, hold on. There we go. Right, sorted that. Throwing some hybrid picking to spice things up. Slanting tutor. Yeah, okay, got it. Well, I think we're going to be on tomorrow with this as well, because the hybrid. That's a different thing altogether, because we have like finger planting. So you can see how much I alternate pick. Oops. Anyway, we're out of things to do there. Dual window. I have got that. I had that before, didn't I? If I do that, and then I add that. There. Happy Enzo. There we go. There you go. You can now see both hands. So you can see rapidly I can solve all of my picking problems there and then. Amazing, isn't it? I'm not sure, like, what a good, I need to think of a good place to put this. Like that, 'cause that, you know. How hard is... Loose or hard? Yeah, so, okay. So for me, like, I have a huge amount of dynamic range with economy picking, okay? But actually, my grip on the pick is very, very light. I'm not, like, I mean, sometimes I get stressed, I stress and, like, kind of clench, but I shouldn't do that. When I'm picking really well, it's just nice and relaxed. You can see that now I'm getting up to speed. You can see the picking angles kind of working there. But being tense is the enemy, you know. It's not going to help you at all. Oops. See, something like that. That's a mixture of sort of alternate and economy. That's economy. The rest of it's alternate. No, right, okay. So the bouncing motion that you're experiencing, okay, just get this. Right, this is great. So this is exactly what we need to be looking at. Right. So thanks for the answer. Sometimes when I pick, I bounce too much in the strings and I try to pick lightly and maybe it's worse than it gives me a little more force. No, right, okay. You want to be relaxed. The reason you're experiencing, you need to watch all this video, right? So the reason that you are experiencing a bouncing motion is because you haven't got the picking angles dialed in and the pick is trapped. Okay? So if you start something with the wrong angle, for example, we'll go back to the pentatonic scale. So if I start with an upstroke like that, okay, the pick's trapped. So I have to jump over this string to alternately pick to get to the next string. If I have the right angle dialed in, which is a downward slant, the pick clears that sixth string and there's a clear line of sight to get to that A string. So wrong, I've got to bounce over, bouncing motion. Downward slant, that's the right. And that's why you don't get the bouncing motion and your hand's nice and smooth. Okay, that's why. It's as simple as that. The other thing is, you know, there might be something going on and you're using double escape motion, which is double escape motion isn't as efficient, you won't get as much speed, and you may also get a bouncing motion with that as well. So any bouncing motion that's going on, it's because even though you'll be alternate picking it and it'll look right, the bouncing motion's coming from not having the correct angle on the pick and your hand trying to move out the way of the string without hitting it. So that is why, classic example there, we are, or you are, experiencing that. Makes sense? But try it. I'm going to be on here tomorrow, because I'm assuming everybody's going to be looking at the picking. So I'll be here tomorrow, and we can discuss this further. Yeah, so watch it entirely. Obviously, I waffle on and stuff, but like everything you need to know so far is there. And then I'll be here tomorrow as the picking agony uncle, and we can talk about all of our picking woes then. But we can also talk, we'll start branching out into other techniques as well, because there's some interest there for hybrid picking, so we can touch on that tomorrow. super chat. Yeah, look at that. Thank you, Brian. So you said the last riff was alternate and economy. Yeah. So like turning that round. There's economy. There's a slight bit of alternate picking in there. The blue note. Oh, this one. That's the one, isn't it? Right, okay. Yeah, so basically we've got down, up, down. It's economy, so down, up, down, down. And then I have to rotate round, because to get round this, I have to change my picking direction, because we're in inside motion. But now we're going straight. That sets us up for 2 notes per string. So you can see how the angle, and the thumb's brushing the string. I've got an aggressive angle there. I know that I'm going to just go all the way to the bottom. So you'll notice this with Thomas's playing, he gets like these great aggressive angles and really aggressive picking. So it's great when you get it all going, all the techniques, you know, there's like loads of things you can do. You're never bored. Anyway. We're getting up to, hold on. Time I went for a walk, sort of time. Yes, it's time for my morning walk, everybody. So that's the next thing. That's well, I mean, the whole thing's a reward. But as I say, forming a habit, trigger, getting up. We do the action, doing this live. And then basically after that, I do my reward, which is walk around the park with the missus holding hands. So thanks, everybody. There's definitely a live tomorrow. Enzo has a request. Could you focus more on economy and hybrid picking next? Yes, I can. We'll do that. Okay? Because the thing is we've got to put it all together, haven't we? There's the hybrid, the economy. Well, you can see when I'm playing, and hammers only. Okay? And I think we'll start discussing that tomorrow. Okay? And then I think if we discuss all of it a bit, then I can work out in detail how I'm going to focus on each element. All right? So probably a bit of an overview tomorrow and answering your questions. So everybody, do focus in on your alternate picking and economy picking. And I'm hoping that you're all going to have great questions tomorrow. All right? Thank you, everybody. And see you later. Bye.